Hi, I'm Tom Lu. This is the Window Trail in the Big Bend National Park. The Window Trail is one of the most beautiful trails in the Big Bend, starting from Chisos Basin, running through a variety of terrains, grasslands, steep rocks, deep woods, and ending in a pull-off, a dramatic view in the Big Bend. The total distance is 5 miles. Chisos Basin is a bowl-shaped basin at the heart of the Chisos Mountains in Big Bend National Park. At 5,400 feet elevation, it is the starting point of many trails leading to beautiful scenery in the Chisos Mountains. The National Park Service established the visitor center, lodge, shop, and a campground in Chisos Basin for visitors. It offers cooler temperatures, stunning mountain views, and easy access to many of the park's best hikes, including the Window Trail. The Chisos Mountains, also known as the Chisos, are a mountain range located in the Big Bend area of Texas. The mountain system covers 40 square miles and is entirely contained within the boundaries of Big Bend National Park, making it the only mountain range in the United States to be fully contained within the national park. The Chisos Mountains are the southernmost mountain range in the mainland United States. Volcanic eruptions between 17 million and 38 million years ago formed the Chisos Mountains. Geologists believe that some mountain peaks, including Emery Peak and the Casa Grande, may have been volcanic vents that spewed gases, rock, ash, and lava in violent eruptions. In other areas, thick lava oozed slowly up through huge fissures and hardened into enormous rounded mounds known as lava domes. Following the volcanic activity, millions of years of erosion wore down these mountains and partially filled the basin with sediments. The Chisos Mountains are home to several peaks rising abruptly from the surrounding Chihuahuan Desert, including Emery Peak, Lost Mine Peak, Toll Mountain, Casa Grande Peak. As you hike through the mountain trails, the view unfolds like a living geology textbook painted in earth tones. Rugged, sun-baked peaks with sharp edges, deep folds, and a rich reddish-brown volcanic rock. A sea of stone emphasizes how small we are. Layer after layer of eroded badlands and the rolling desert hills stretch into the distance. Their colors shift from warm terracotta and ochre to muted tans and grays as they recede. In the far background, successive mountain ranges fade into soft blue haze, creating that classic atmospheric perspective that makes the park feel truly endless. When you hike higher and deeper into the mountains, you will see a towering, near vertical escarpment of layered volcanic rock, a labyrinth of jagged ridges, knife-edge spires, and deep ravines. Massive folded cliffs rise hundreds of feet in a chaotic symphony of reddish-brown, tan, and gray strata. The rock glows in rich shades of burnt orange, terracotta, and a warm brown, with dramatic shadows carving out every crease, fin, and buttress. You can almost feel the geologic violence that created this place. Ancient eruptions, faulting, and a relentless erosion, leaving behind this sawtooth skyline. The rock looks ancient and powerful, fractured and folded by millions of years of volcanic upheaval, erosion, and faulting. Sparse desert vegetation, such as agaves, yuccas, and hardy shrubs, clings tenaciously to the ledges, adding delicate great accents against the stone. Your eye is then pulled along the sweeping canyon wall into the distance, where successive ridges and peaks fade into soft blues and hazy silhouettes, a classic atmospheric perspective that makes the mountains feel endless. The contrast between the sheer sunlit rock faces and the deep shadows in the folds and the gullies creates incredible texture and dimension. Under that bright blue sky with scattered clouds, the light plays dramatically across the cliffs, highlighting every crack, ledge, and bulge. There are giant V-shaped window views framed by massive bridges, opening onto an infinite desert wilderness. Their layered volcanic rock glowing in rich shades of rust, ochre, and a golden brown. Every crease, fin, and fractured face is sharply defined by the angled light, creating extraordinary texture and depth. Between them, the view plunges dramatically downward through a deep canyon before opening to the broad Chisos Basin and the vast Chihuahuan Desert beyond. These landscapes look like another planet, feel close enough to touch, yet they are dwarfed by what lies beyond. The Window Trail in Big Bend National Park is my favorite hiking trail. It is one of the most popular and scenic hikes in Big Bend, meandering through Oak Creek Canyon in the Chisos Mountains down to a dramatic narrow pull-off, a V-shaped gap in the rock that frames the sweeping views of the Chihuahuan Desert below, a high reward at the end of the journey. 5.5 miles round trip with 800 to 1,000 feet elevation change. Window Trail is moderately challenging, not extreme, but not an easy stroll either. The trail has a well-maintained dirt path, but also has rocky and sandy sections. In February, Big Bend National Park is less crowded. I have the trail all by myself most of the time. It begins with an open canyon section winding through Chihuahuan Desert terrain, offering stunning mountain views. Despite being the Chihuahuan Desert, Window Trail is richly vegetated. Thanks to the cool temperatures and abundant precipitation in Chisos Basin, you will see junipers, oaks, piñon pines, agaves, yuccas, prickly pear cacti, and hardy desert shrubs lining the path. In the distance, the striking jagged formations of the Chisos rise sharply into the clear blue sky. They are layered volcanic rock glowing in warm shades of brown, orange, and tan. Bright sunshine, big sky, dramatic geology, and the satisfying feeling of being deep in the heart of the Chisos on one of the park's most beloved trails. The vastness of the landscape makes me feel immersed in wild country, while the steady downhill grade and the fantastic mountain views keep the hiking energizing and rewarding. When I enter a lush woodland, I feel a sense of seclusion and serenity, almost magical, cool, fragrant, and alive with birdsong. This is an enchanting hidden oasis, nestled within the rugged Chisos Mountains. Towering junipers and oaks form a graceful canopy overhead, their branches creating dappled sunlight and a sense of peaceful enclosure. The ground is covered with fallen leaves and loose rock, typical of the canyon bottom where Oak Creek occasionally flows. The light filters softly through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the path and filling the air with a peaceful cathedral-like glow. The canyon walls rise steeply on both sides, with layered volcanic rock in warm earth tones. I can see the transition from the greener, more vegetated slopes to the drier, rockier terrain higher up. Classic Sky Island ecology, where moisture collects in the drainage. This part of the trail feels more intimate and forested compared to the open desert sections. It's a pleasant gradual descent with good footing, though a bit rocky, offering a nice mix of shade and mountain views peeking through the trees. The air is cooler and fragrant with juniper and earth, a welcome contrast to the harder, more exposed stretches lower down. The light is soft and natural, highlighting the peaceful woodland atmosphere, serene, immersive, and rewarding. It's the kind of section where I can really soak in the diversity of Big Bend, mountain forest feeling inside a desert canyon. I have a close encounter with the Mexican jay, one of the most common and charismatic birds in the Chisos Mountains. A Mexican jay has a blue head and a soft grayish blue tone on the back and underparts. Black mask around the eye, long tail, and a sturdy bill. Mexican jays are bold and curious, thriving in the oak, juniper, piñon woodlands of the Chisos. The flora and the birds add to the visual and the sonic pleasures of my adventurous journey. After descending through the changing woodlands and the rocky canyons, the trail suddenly funnels me into a narrow, intimate slot of polished, slick rock. The walls close in, the sound of my footsteps changes, and the air feels different. The trail narrows dramatically between sheer, polished rock walls. The beauty becomes intimate and powerful. Sculpted slick rock, natural rock pools, and the sound of Oak Creek. This spot is in the last 0.25 mile of the trail. The footing here is tricky. The rock can be extremely slick when wet, and the area is prone to flash flooding. The National Park Service constructed the rock steps here to help hikers navigate the steep, slippery section safely, and occasional leap across a small seasonal stream. The constructed stone steps add a touch of human craftsmanship against the wild backdrop without spoiling the wild feel. Footing still can be treacherous when wet. I scrambled down the final stone steps and across smooth bedrock. The polished bedrock was carved and smoothed by thousands of years of water flow. They form when water collects in smooth water-polished limestone pockets. The Slick Rock Canyon was formed by long-term fluvial erosion, the persistent action of water, sand, and gravel, carving and smoothing the rock over thousands of years. The Chisos Mountains formed from volcanic activity. Hard igneous rocks, mainly rhyolite and other intrusive volcanic rocks, created resistant cliffs and canyon walls in this area. These rocks are much tougher than the surrounding material. The entire Chisos Basin acts like a giant funnel. All rainwater and runoff from the surrounding peaks drains westward to the Oak Creek Canyon. This single narrow gap, the window, is the only outlet for the whole basin. During flash floods and seasonal flows, Oak Creek carries sand, gravel, and boulders. They act like sandpaper, scouring and polishing the bedrock. Over time, this created smooth, slick surfaces, water-carved potholes and pools, and the narrow, sculpted canyon walls. The light-colored streaks on the rock are mineral residuals left behind when water evaporates. The result is that beautiful, almost sculpted, slippery bedrock near the end of the trail. It's a textbook example of differential erosion. Soft material was removed, while the hard volcanic rock was polished into its current dramatic form. The process is still active today. Heavy rains can send powerful torrents to this exact spot. The scene feels almost otherworldly. A narrow, polished stone corridor carved by centuries of water. The bedrock glows in soft shades of cream, pale gray, and a warm beige. Its surface smoothed into a marble-like finish by the relentless action of Oak Creek. Small mirror-like rock pools hold still water that reflects the sky and the surrounding cliffs, adding a serene, glassy element to the rugged terrain. The water has artistically carved the stone into graceful curves, bows, and chutes. Every swirl and contour tells a story of erosion and time. The pale, smooth slick rock stands out against the darker, rougher reddish-brown canyon walls that tower above. Unlike the vast desert views at the pour-off, this spot feels enclosed and personal, like you've entered a secret chamber in the heart of the mountains. There's a quiet, meditative quality here. The light plays wonderfully across the polished surfaces, creating soft shadows and highlights that shift throughout the day. It's a place that rewards slow walking and careful looking. You can almost hear the ancient rush of water that shaped this canyon. The Slick Rock Canyon is my favorite part of the Window Trail, a perfect blend of raw geology, quiet intimacy, and the anticipation of the dramatic drop just ahead. It feels sacred, timeless, and deeply peaceful.
Hi, I'm Tom Lu. This is the Window Trail in the Big Bend National Park. The Window Trail is one of the most beautiful trails in the Big Bend, starting from Chisos Basin, running through a variety of terrains, grasslands, steep rocks, deep woods, and ending in a pour-off, a dramatic view in the Big Bend. The total distance is 5 miles.
The enclosed, sculpted canyon I just walked through suddenly gives way to a vast open sky and a desert. It's a breathtaking reveal moment. The canyon opens just enough for me to stand at the edge of the pour-off. The window pour-off at the end of the Window Trail is the dramatic climax of the hike, one of the most powerful and memorable moments in all of Big Bend National Park. The pour-off drops approximately 200 to 220 feet to the desert floor below. This is the vertical plunge where Oak Creek cascades through the narrow V-shaped notch in the rock. This dramatic drop is what creates the famous window framing effect. With the vast Chihuahuan Desert stretching out far below, it's one of the most memorable payoffs in the park. Awe-inspiring, humbling, and quietly exhilarating, there's a sense of having earned the view after the steady descent. Standing there with the wind, the vastness, and the deep time of geology all around me. It's a place where people tend to go quiet, take a deep breath, and just soak it in. It's a place that feels both intimate and immense at the same time. I'm tucked in between towering cliffs, yet staring out through a perfect V-shaped window carved by nature into an endless desert panorama 200 feet below. The sheer cliffs of Armand Carter Peak on the left and the Vernon Bailey Peak on the right create one of the most iconic natural frames in the American Southwest. The desert stretches out for 50-plus miles in layered hues of tan, gold, and muted blue. The polished rock glows in warm earth tones. In morning or late afternoon light, the cliffs turn golden and the shadows deepen, making the scene feel almost sacred. At the same time, this spot is extremely dangerous. The polished rock can be extremely slippery, especially when wet. And there's no guardrail. The sheer drop is real and unforgiving. The flash floods have swept the people over the edge in the past. At the end of this adventurous journey, I finally stand alone on the edge of the window pour-off, the heart of a towering narrow slot canyon, dwarfed by sheer sun-baked cliffs that rise dramatically on both sides. The polished water-sculpted bedrock under my feet creates a smooth, pale gray chute that contrasts sharply with the rugged reddish-brown volcanic walls around me. The massive rock faces are deeply fractured and layered, with sparse desert plants clinging tenaciously to ledges high above. Sunlight pours in from the narrow opening at the top, illuminating the scene with brilliant contrast. Warm golden rock against the cool shadowed stone, and the bright Texas sky. It's not just beautiful, it's transformative. The window pour-off is Big Bend at its finest. Raw geologic power, stunning natural architecture, and that signature feeling of standing alone on the edge of something ancient and immense. It's the kind of place that will stay with me long after the hike is over.